Hey Ranger Nation, so today we're going to be talking about Beast Morphers episode 5, Taking Care of Business. And yeah, so before we begin the video, if you want to hit the like button, the subscribe button, as well as the notification bell, you'll be notified when more videos drop. And before we do, if you want to win a Power Coin, or the Power Rangers movie coin, then stick around to the end of this video, and I'll also announce the winner for the last episode. Generally thought there'd be more people entering, but yeah, if you want a chance to win this coin, then just stay till the end of the video. This entire episode is, I kind of think of as a bonding moment for Devin and his dad. So we kind of open up straight away on this like car wash scene, and Devin just arrived, and the guy, I think his name's Sudsy, whatever, just literally just throws on his uniform and says, "There you go, you can have this." And Devin's like, what's going on? And then we find out that Devin's dad, who is the mayor, if you don't know, he has got him a job to teach him how to have responsibility. So you're standard, hey, let's have a job, you've got to do that. I don't know that you're a Power Ranger, I just know that you are not doing anything. And when Devin turns around and says, hey, I can't do this, his dad goes, okay, so tell me why, and you don't have to do it. And Devin just goes, I've got to play a video game. I'm in a video game tournament. Now, this would have been the most perfect thing to say at the very beginning or at the very end, and go, look, Dad, I really can't do this. The fact is that I have got a job at Grid Battle Force, so I can't do this. I'm really sorry. And thus, therefore, the episode could have been something else. But no, it's straight up, you've got to work at the car wash. And when I saw the intro thing, I just kept thinking, it's at the car wash, yeah, the car wash. That's all I kept thinking on it. We jump to the cyber dimension, and this is when Evox is talking to Scruzzle as well as Blaze, and he wants to get out of the cyber dimension. He doesn't want to be stuck in the computer terminal anymore. He wants to get out of there. Scruzzle turns around and says, I have a plan to do everything with the cameras around the city, and Evox goes, no, I'm done with this. We're not going to do this. And then Blaze says, well, I've got a plan to steal you oceans of Morph X. And this is when Evox is like, yes, let's do this plan. We're now at the base, and we are introduced to a new character called General Burke. And I was like, I've heard the name Burke before. It's like kind of an insult in a way. So I was like, oh, okay, they're putting this in. And he's talking about taking the fight to them, take the offensive and stuff like this. And when we find out that it's Ben and Betty's father, and as Ben and Betty come into the room, they have made a dog tricks or something like that. It's basically a Tronic that's been turned into a dog. And they say that they put all the pieces together from a battle from all the Rangers. They're able to make something different. And this gives Nate an idea of actually looking at the different parts of Giga Drones and seeing what kind of secrets, what they can do, if they can salvage all the information. And this is a really good thing. As the Donix, I can't even say it. If you know, let me know down below in the comments. With this, the dog, we're going to call it a dog, follows commands, sit, roll over, blah, blah, blah. And then when they say attack, boom, it goes for Ben, and they chases around. So you kind of saw that one coming. There's apparently a secret base on the outskirts of the city, and that's where they're going to be doing all their information and finding out all the stuff. So, they can now use this secret base. Now, when you say secret base, to me, that kind of means, ooh, mystery. What's inside that secret base? Lots of things. Hopefully that would be kind of cool. So they're going to gather all the stuff and kind of go through it at this base. As the meeting comes to a kind of a close, Devin says that he's got to go back to his job. He's on his lunch break, and Ravi and Zoe are like, oh, hang on a minute, you've got to kind of quit. You can't be doing this as a Ranger as well as yourself, because you just can't. And Devin's like, I'm going to do this because my dad's got me this job, and it makes him happy. So then we cut to another scene. We get a mixture of different scenes. Devin is car washing, where Ravi and Zoe are kind of picking up old stuff from the wreckages that have been left about. You kind of think that they would have a cleanup crew, and this wouldn't have been kind of left. So at the moment, they're kind of picking up all the stuff that's been left around the city. As Devin is cleaning cars, his dad comes up and says, hey, let me take you out to lunch. You're like, hang on a minute, Dad. You can't be taking me out for lunch right now. I'm still working. You kind of think that the power of the mayor there would have some sway, but it doesn't. But in the end, Devin's dad just decides to join in to actually help kind of clean the cars and to kind of show moves and get the line going. So maybe he's like, I want to take you out for lunch, so I have to help you finish your stuff before we can have lunch. So in the next scene, Blaze just wanders in on this like construction yard. He downloads the virus, puts it into this saw to make Tron, which is basically a monster that can slice through pretty much everything, and this is how they're going to get the Morph X all along. Meanwhile, back at the secret base, we kind of see some foreshadowing as we see the Silver Ranger, kind of the head, the bodyoid, and we know that this is going to come along because obviously in the previous episode, the commander was like, Nate, if you want to go out, you need a buddy. So I generally think in the next episode or the next few episodes, Nate gets the idea to build his own bodyoid, and thus therefore he becomes a Power Ranger, and thus therefore things are a good one. So I kind of like that they're giving you teasers, but if you didn't know about Go Busters or anything like that, you just generally thought this would have been like kind of a normal thing. Which again is a very interesting thing that we're going to see. As Zoe and Ravi are checking in on Nate, the commander rings up and says, hey, get your butts down there. Blaze and a monster are down there attacking. And they say, yeah, no problem. And this is when the commander tries to contact Devin, but Devin has put down his communicator and his mobile phone to go continue washing cars. And I will say that Devin must be very trusting, because you'd think that you'd lock your stuff away, but he just leaves it so people could just walk by and be like, oh, I'm going to have that. But everyone's very trusting there. That's good. It's good. Zoe and Ravi arrive on the scene, and with this, they dodge these like slice attacks, and then we get the intro. And I generally thought 6 minutes in, we wouldn't get, we'd get this at the very beginning of the actual episode, not kind of 6 minutes in or something like that. So it's kind of nice to see that. So as we come back to the main fight, Zoe and Ravi are dodge these attacks, and they morph and wonder where Devin is, and then we get another fight, and it's basically, it looks like it's Ravi versus Blaze and Zoe versus Tron. Devin is finally called, and he rushes off to the scene, tells his boss, hey, I've got an emergency, and then arrives on the scene. With this, the scaffolding has fallen on top of Ravi and Zoe, so basically he just rushes in and kind of gets rid of it, and that's pretty much it. And kind of another fight happens, so it's very kind of cool. So when obviously the Rangers have defeated Blaze and Tron, you have like stuff on the side. So Zoe just literally walks over, eats some carrots, and then Ravi's using the thing to kind of cool himself down. Now, what I don't understand is, did someone leave it there for them, or did they just turn around and go, I'm going to steal that from someone's lunch, and just ate it? This is when Zoe and Ravi turn around and say, look, you've got to quit your job. You can't do both. And Devin says, I can't. This is the best thing that's happened with me and my dad. He's very proud of me. He's happy. This is a different light. And I was like, you know what? That's kind of cool. So that there's loyalty there. There's more kind of building up towards the characters. So I kind of really want to see what happens next. Will Devin's dad be happier much later on in the series, or is that kind of it? Nate then contacts the Rangers and says, hey, every single time you destroy a Gigatron, what happens is that the circuitry gets fried. So it's completely, we're not able to use this whatsoever. And so the Rangers now have to come up with a way of making sure a Gigatron survives and stuff like that. Devin is also contacted and told that he has to work later because there's so many cars to wash. Dear God, there must be tons of cars over in this cove. So he then rushes off and he stays there, and I think this is the time where his boss says, you've got to stick about, if you run off on another emergency, you're gonna be fired. At this point, we have Ravi and Zoe. They just come along and they say that they're gonna help. They're gonna help clean the cars and get stuff done. So, Devin's like, oh guys, that's awesome, thank you. Don't know what that was, but says thank you very much, and they start cleaning cars. Now, it doesn't show much time passing, but we go straight to the cyber dimension. This is when Tron and Blaze are talking about their plan. They have an idea of what to do, so they're going to go and get multiple kind of buildings and drain the Morph X. The Rangers are doing all the car washing things and getting stuff sorted, and Blaze picks up the communicators as well as the mobile phones and just literally just destroys them, which I will say one thing, it feels like no one was watching, because you think you'd see a giant monster just slicing stuff. So if someone could have turned around and gone, hey, guess what? There's a monster over there. So this is when no time kind of passes. It feels like it's 5 seconds long. Everyone at Grid Battle Force just turns up, And they say like, oh, you know, where are you? There's something happened in the district. Loads of like tons and tons of Morphex was like kind of taken. You know, this is something really bad. When the Rangers are like, hang on a minute, I don't kind of understand, like, you know, why didn't you call us? They're like, well, we tried to, you're not answering. So you kind of think, oh, maybe they could have sent like 1 car, not like 3. So the Rangers find out that their devices, mobile phones, of all that have been destroyed. So they're kind of like, oh, we had a visitor. So then they get the communicators back, as well as, I'm guessing, brand new mobile phones. And then they rush straight off into the battle. When Devin says that he's got to go, his boss says, look, your dad's going to hear about this. You know, this is really bad, like, you can't do this. And Devin's like, I'm sorry, I have to go, and then just runs off. The Rangers find Blaze and Tron, and this is when they start having another fight. In the meantime, Devin's dad finds out about Devin, and the fact is that he ran away, that he isn't in his job anymore. And at this point, some rocks fall down, or the pavement like kind of breaks apart, and thus Devin's dad actually sees the Rangers fighting. At this moment, for some strange reason, this little girl just runs out of nowhere and stops, and this like kind of like blade is just going straight for her head. And this is when Devin kind of like swoops in, he saves the little girl, and Devin's dad actually looks at him like he knows who he is, but he's seeing the Rangers in action for the first time. At this point, the Rangers kind of defeat Blaze, and Blaze just kind of teleports, and he goes and talks straight to Scruzzle. Scruzzle sends a new Gigadrone. This is a Gamma model, and basically it's going to have the same powers as Tron. That's pretty much it. The Rangers are still fighting Tron, and they get contacted saying that a new Gigadrone has arrived. They don't know what it is, and it's attacking one of the towers. So with this, Devin goes off. The Zords have been kind of called, so he gets his Racer Zord and stuff, and it morphs into like the kind of Zord mode that it is. They start kind of fighting, and then all of a sudden this Gigadrone is able to put up a shield, which then kind of disables Devin's Zord, only because when it gets knocked back, it's able to fire multiple missiles, which kind of knock it out. And it's like, dear God, this is working. So you think that if that works, you're able to take out a lot more of them. Smash and Jax are sent in, and you know they're controlling the Zords without their partners. And this to them is kind of weird, but they can obviously do it. They kind of fall down into the same sort of thing. When they attack, the Gigadrone is like reflecting their attacks back, and nothing is kind of working. As Devin's Zord has been kind of disabled, it's finally rebooted after such a long time. And Devin kind of thinks of like what he can do. So he charges up the sword, he literally launches for it, and pushes the kind of sword straight through to disable the Gigadrone, as the Gigadrone is like slicing through the Zord, which again you don't really kind of see. This is kind of the most epic battle we've had in Zords fighting for a very long time. So after Devin has done his stuff, they take the Gigadrone back to the secret base, and they're doing it very carefully. Nate arrives and he's like, oh my god, like this is intact, there's no or very little damage. Oh my god, this is amazing. I'm going to data mine this and all the information that we're going to get from it. And it's very interesting that they've done that, and I'm kind of intrigued on what they're going to do. Obviously data mine, but what information they find out that we may hear in the next episode. The general is really happy, but he looks at Devin and goes like, you know, you've done good, but you look really bad. You know, what's up? And this is when Devin's like, well, you know, I've had to quit my job. What am I going to do? So you kind of think you just turn around and say, just say you work for us. That would be the simple term. So as Nate says, like, we don't need any more of this stuff, you know, we can just get rid of this. Ben and Betty, or Ben mainly, takes offense. It's like, no, we've done this. And thus, therefore, you see this scene where Betty's jumping on the hand going, come on, you know, this is going to be cool. And they do something like, it kind of reminds me of King Kong, where literally the hand grabs Betty and just throws her for some strange reason. Maybe it's just some sort of thing in the electronics. And Ben catches her and it's like, boom, done. You know, this is the episode kind of coming to the end. So Devin speaks to his dad. This is the last scene. So Devin speaks to his dad and says, look, yeah, you know, how are you? I saw that you were in there with the monster. Are you okay? And Devin's dad's just like, yeah, I'm fine. You know, why did you get let go of this job? You know, rah, rah, rah. And Devin's dad is very disappointed in him. And Devin's like, oh, god damn it, what's happening? Oh, no. You know, he feels very distraught. And he's like, okay. But then his dad goes on TV and says, like, hey, Rangers, I didn't believe in you now. But now you've got my full backing. I'm proud of you. And Zoe and Ravi are like, do you know what? You know, your dad is proud. He just doesn't know. So my prediction is what's going to happen is when like you see this whole massive crack in the helmet, the last battle, this is when Devin Dad sees who he is, and this is when you can be like, oh my god, you're a ranger. I've never been so proud of you. That's gonna happen, you know it is. And yeah, that's the end of the episode. My thoughts. I've got to admit that this was a great episode. I wasn't bored. I could watch it over and over again and I'd still be entertained. It feels like they're showing a lot of stuff that the fandom has possibly talked about. What happens if you're a ranger and you have a job? What could that entail? You know, you've got to do teamwork. You've got to be there. You know, you can't do two things. If one's more important than the other, you have to concentrate on that one. One thing is, like, I don't understand why Devin can't turn around to his dad and say, I work for Grid Battle Force. You know, I am the tech person. I'm doing this. I'm helping the rangers. Because that would kind of like put your cover so Devin's dad doesn't kind of go on about having a job or anything like this. I do think that when Devin's dad finds out that Devin is a ranger, I think that's going to change the whole thing. Now, it would be really cool if it was the end of season 1, or if it comes into season 2, that would be something slightly different. But at the very end of it, I'm quite happy with this episode. It was fun, it was entertaining, and again, I also generally think, I thought Ben and Betty would annoy me, but they don't. I actually generally like them, and I think they're really good characters. You know, it's just very interesting how the whole season's playing out so far and how great it is. So we come to the end of the review, and I have to say a big congratulations to Useless Hero, who has won this movie coin. If you want it, then just email me on the channel and I will get in touch and we'll talk about me shipping this out to you. And if you want to win one of these, then all you have to do is just comment on what do you think about this episode, or what are your thoughts on Beast Morpher. You also have to be subscribed to the channel as well. I didn't mention that in the first one, but it will help. And yeah, so I'm going to leave it there. If you have liked this video, like, favorite, comment, and consider subscribing. Hit that notification bell for more videos. And if you've enjoyed this video, why not check out all the other videos on the channel. Enter the competition to win the coin. And as always, Ranger Nation, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in a bit.